Hey everybody, let's talk about timelines and bubbles of reality for a minute. Everybody exists on their own timeline, in their own bubble of reality. And your bubble of reality can be a positive one, a negative one. It can be high vibrational, low vibrational. It all depends on you, your choices, your beliefs, your traumas that are healed, your mind, what your mind focuses on, your energy overall, all that type of stuff, all affects your bubble of reality. You can live in a bubble of reality that other people don't live in. You can still cross paths with them. Timelines and reality can cross paths, but not actually be on the same timeline type of thing. The way I explain that is think of yourself as living in a bubble and you have a bubble around you. Let's say it's 30 feet wide, 30 feet in diameter around you. The people who live in your reality, who are on the same timeline, their bubbles overlap with yours, kind of like a Venn diagram type of thing. They don't experience the same reality as you because they don't have the same perception, they don't have the same past, the same traumas, the same mindsets, all these types of things. They see the world differently, so their reality is essentially different. The key is that as we grow spiritually and we come to our heart center and we start speaking with love, we start working with love, we start being in a loving space with everything we do, our bubble of reality exudes love. And we are on a timeline in a reality of love that we experience, and our perception and outer world and inner world all reflect that. That does not mean other people are not on lower realities, that you might be experiencing a beautiful life while other people are experiencing a disastrous life. But their bubbles are not within your bubble. Your bubble affects those around you. And one of the greatest things you can do for humanity is to keep your bubble strong, to keep your bubble filled with love, filled with light. Because when other people come into your bubble and it overlaps like those Venn diagrams where you have two circles overlapping, most of the time the whole thing doesn't overlap on top. It's just parts overlap. So even the partner you're with, the mother and father, the friends, your whole realities are not exactly the same. They do not overlap entirely. They just have parts. But when you do that, when you increase your capacity for love, when you increase your capacity to live in a positive way, to live in a positive timeline, a higher vibrational timeline, higher vibrational way, your reality, your bubble affects those that you touch. It affects those. And what happens when a bubble touches another bubble? They touch each other and they stick together. Bubbles floating through the air, floating through the water. They touch and they tend to stick together. And so the more you work on your bubble, the more love and light you bring in, the more you can affect the reality of others and shift them into love and light, because your energy starts to affect their field, their bubble, their reality. And so whenever there is anything going on, whether it's in yourself, whether it's in your reality or in the outside world or in a lower reality, a lower timeline, you can always come back and should always come back to yourself. Come back to your reality, come back to your bubble, because it's the only thing you have control of is your inner world, your state of being. That's it. You have no control over anybody else. You don't have control over anybody else's reality, anybody else's perception, anybody else's timeline, nothing. Only yourself. So come back to your own inner healing. Bring yourself back to a state of love, to a vibration of love, to a vibration of a higher vibrational reality. Because when you are in a lower vibration of fear, of hatred, of anger, your bubble is affecting other bubbles and pulling them down. Doesn't matter how spiritual you are, doesn't matter how awake you are, your bubble will pull other bubbles down. It will pull other bubbles down. It will create a collective reality of fear, anger, and hate. But if you operate with your heart, If you bring yourself back to that heart center, those around you will lift into a bubble, into a reality of love, higher vibrational energy, if they choose. I want to be clear about that. If they choose, your bubble cannot force somebody to do something, but it can affect others. If you're low vibrational in a low vibrational reality, you will affect the people around you, and it will try to bring them down because that negative energy is trying to hold them in that reality. Your bubble is trying to stick to other people's bubbles, whether high vibrational, low vibrational, high good reality, low bad reality. You're sticking to those bubbles. So the bubbles are all sticking, trying to be like, come here, stay with me, stay with me. If you change your reality, and understand that you're affecting all of that, you can lift yourself into a positive version of the world in a positive timeline by holding love and light. It does mean some people will drop off. When a bubble rises in the water, in the air, it can collect bubbles to it. They can stick. They can also bounce off. You can rise, you can grow, you can become lighter, you can lift up. And the other bubbles who choose not to grow with you fall away. Fall away. They go down. They might go off to the side. They hit each other. They collect. They turn into a bubble of their own. They all merge together. They create a reality of their own. But you're no longer there. You're in a different reality. You're in a higher reality, a higher version of love, a higher version of light and existence and timelines and all this other stuff, because you're floating higher. The higher you go, the more you live in love, the more you live in your heart, the more you attract others in that space. So then their bubbles connect with you, those higher up. You lift, you connect into their field. Their reality affects your reality affects their reality, and you both have choice. Do you continue rising, or does one fall off? Does one pull down? It is your job as a light worker, your job as somebody who's spiritual, somebody who's energetic, to always hold the light, to always hold your reality, to always make sure you are in a loving state of vibration, a positive state of vibration, and that everything you do is out of love. Out of love. Anything you do, ask yourself, is this out of love? Am I operating out of love? Or am I operating out of fear, anger, hate, jealousy? Am I operating out of a lower vibrational emotion? If you are operating from a lower vibrational emotion, your lower vibrational emotions are going to create a negative reality for you, pop you onto a lower timeline, a negative timeline. I don't necessarily like the word lower. I prefer the word more negative, chaotic, lower energy, more density type timelines. It will pop you onto that. But the moment you decide to operate with love from your loving heart space, to clear the anger, hate, fear, trauma, all that stuff, you lift. Your bubble rises. You experience more peace, more heaven on earth, and you affect those around you with that energy. You affect those around you to touch their bubble, merge a little bit, and give them the choice, to show them by example, you can do better. You can operate like this. You can experience a completely different world, a completely different reality, the true creation of heaven on earth, if you decide to live with a loving heart space, to clear your trauma, to heal, to be more positive, to focus on things that are non-negative, to do the work, the inner work. Your bubble of reality is your reality. There are outside worlds, outside realities, outside timelines that exist that you do not exist on, but you can see them. You can hear them, see them, watch them, feel them. Your friends will talk about them, your parents. You do not have to be on those timelines. If you commit to your own reality of love, and then you will help raise them to those realities as well. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Grateful for each and every one of you.